Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So the mainstream liberal media, they're absolutely panicking lately when they look at the election polls, even though we're far out. And everyone's focused on battleground states. You know how the headlines always go. Biden's up by 2, Trump's ahead by 1, Biden's leading by 4. All, of course, very, very suspenseful stuff that we just can't get enough of. But when it comes down to the popular vote, if it's a tight race, it almost doesn't hold much weight due to the margin of error. So what really counts? Well, what truly counts are those pivotal swing states. And from what we're seeing, Trump seems to be gaining really, really strong momentum in exactly those areas. And I'm about to dive deeper and show you exactly what's pushing some folks on the left closer and closer to literally losing their minds.
It's September. That means that the primaries are just a few months away. We've gotten through kind of the heat of the summer, and we're going to take a look at where the races look, where they stand today. First, that national GOP primary, you can see, as you were just mentioning, this YouGov Economist poll just came out. Donald Trump now breaking 50% in that poll against all of his rivals. And so it does look like we're going to see, at least at this point, a Trump versus Biden rematch. Take a look at where the head-to-head stands today. Again, a YouGov Economist poll within the margin of error. And this is one of these things that we have seen over and over the last number of months, whether it's Biden slightly ahead or Trump slightly ahead. This is a horse race, folks, and we're going to continue to be following these polls and the trends as we go into the fall and into the primaries here at Newsmax. Take a look at one that came out in early August in Arizona, key swing state. You see Donald Trump up by 2. He just barely lost the state in 2020. He's up by 2, but again, within the margin of error. Let's go over to Georgia. This one's a little bit older of a poll, but it's important. Now we're going to see the show trial of the century in Georgia unfold potentially over these next number of months. Is this number going to move? Donald Trump ahead by 4 points in this poll in early June, but it was before that fourth indictment. Keep an eye on Georgia. We'll be following the trends there. On over to Michigan. Again, within 1 point, this is a key state, but a state where Donald Trump seems to be holding his own after the loss there in 2020. And this is still a toss-up. Over to New Hampshire. New Hampshire, you got a lot of folks moving from Massachusetts up into New Hampshire over the last few years. That looks like it could be impacting almost permanently the electorate there and how they handle these presidential contests. Joe Biden up in this poll from earlier in August. Pretty significantly. And then one more really key state, Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania is sort of the granddaddy of the swing states in many respects. Trump ahead there by 2 points, a Franklin and Marshall poll from a couple of weeks back. And again, what you got to start looking at is whether or not, Trump is capable of winning those suburban votes outside of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh that could give him an opportunity to win that state. That's a must-win state for Republicans nationally. And I'm going to give you one more, and this is the generic ballot. There's no good news in here for anybody, guys. There's a tie here, and especially for Republicans who control the House, this is a sign that maybe what they're doing isn't resonating with the public. A generic ballot tie right here.
All right, so let's zoom in on significant states. So based on the latest polling data, Trump appears to be in the lead in Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. He's also in basically a statistical tie in Michigan. And, even CNN's own polling analyst gave a heads up last week. He basically told CNN viewers, who I'm sure we can all agree lean Democratic, to say the least, not to underestimate Trump's chances of getting reelected. So it's all pretty interesting. I think it's pretty interesting. Let me know in the comments, what you guys think. And let me know especially, how long do you think it will take before the left is in a complete and total panic?
The largest lead for Joe Biden is just 3 points within the margin of error. No clear leader. Look at these. 1 point, 1 point. If you go back at where we were at this point 4 years ago, Joe Biden's lead was high single digits to low double digits. This is significantly closer than where we were 4 years ago. So this idea that Donald Trump can't win the general election, I want you to lose that idea. This race is very, very close, and Donald Trump is polling better right now than basically at any point during the entire 2020 cycle.
After 4 indictments.
After 4 indictments. It just doesn't really seem to matter.
That's fascinating.
So there was a pretty clear statement made there. You know, the idea that Donald Trump can't win the general election, scrap it. That's what they're saying. You know, it's not just some, race that is tight. Indications suggest that things might be leaning towards Trump almost across the board. If we're talking recent polls, the last 6 polls to be specific, Trump is showing a lead. This includes the latest from Wall Street Journal and the YouGov. And mind you, they're not typically seen as pro-Trump in their polling bias. But, if this data even has a hint, if it's even maybe a little bit accurate, it suggests one simple truth, that if elections were held today, it's highly likely that Trump would come out ahead in basically a landslide. I hate to use those words because of the history of those words, but anyway. And barring any unforeseen changes to the way we do elections, to the actual system itself, that's the lay of the land. That's the way it looks. And just to be clear, this is not me adding spin. This is not me seeing it one way or the other. This is just simple math. Even Donna Brazile. Take Donna Brazile, for instance. Someone you probably recognize from ABC This Week and all kinds of scandals in the past. She's a major political player in the Democratic camp, of course. She, I think, once chaired the actual Democratic National Committee. In fact, she did. I remember she gave the questions to a debate to Hillary Clinton during that time. But anyway, so she's also ringing the alarm about this recent surge in Trump's favor, or as we can really call it, a Trump bump.
Let's call it.
The question I asked Tim Kaine towards the end there, it is kind of shocking in a way that despite all of the baggage that Donald Trump carries, he's tied with Joe Biden right now.
Yeah, I mean, George, when I looked at that recent poll, the Wall Street Journal, I said, oh, this could keep me up at night. Look, the problem is, and the biggest challenge we face as Democrats, I say we because I'm a Democrat, is that young voters, young Black and Latino voters, they're not ready to come back to the party. They're not even looking at the so-called messaging that's being sent to them about the economy, about climate change, about student debt relief. They are worried about their future. And right now, they're looking for a leader who represents their values and their vision. And I think the president's campaign is going to have to really, go deep and go hard to motivate those voters to come back within the Democratic Party coalition, because without them, it is a tight race, and it's going to come down to 4 states.
All right, man. So here's a tea straight from the source, man. You did not hear it from me. That was Donna Brazile, a seasoned political veteran, a real old school Democrat, who's basically saying she's never seen anything like this. And she's seen a lot. She's spotlighting this as a massive historical political shift, and she's probably not off the mark. That is the vibe that a lot of people are feeling right now. They had their warnings, steer clear of Trump and don't tamper with or even give the impression of tampering with the electoral process. Because let's be real, man, that narrative plays right into Trump's hands. It's his ace in the hole, his top talking point. And the guy's been screaming witch hunt for 8 years. Why would you actually give him one? And if, people were having any doubts, this might just solidify their beliefs. Anyway, not the best chess move politically, if you ask me. Personally, I keep crossing my fingers, hoping that all these allegations, and let's just call it political drama, turns out to be a miscalculation. I really do believe the Democrats have overplayed their hands on this deal. And from where I stand, it kind of feels like we're heading in that direction. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm crazy or if we're on to something. But then again, obviously predicting the future with as wild as politics are day by day even, it's almost impossible. It's like judging the next internet trend or whatever, judging the, anything. But judging by the current public mood, by poll results, and the evident Democratic panic attacks, it doesn't look too sunny for the hardcore vote blue no matter what people. Anyway, guys, that's just my take. Let me know yours in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.